Hi, I'm Laura. I almost ruined my future because of my childhood dream. Let me tell you about my family at first. I grew up in a simple family. My dad is an engineer and my mother is a teacher. Since my early childhood, I wanted to grow up faster and find my prince and white horse. I dreamed of creating an intelligent family in the future. Therefore, I was always interested in educated, well-groomed, serious guys, much older than me, dressed in a suit and shirt with a briefcase in their hands. I didn't even pay attention to my peers. One Saturday night, a dad's old friend was planning to come to us. He hadn't seen him for about 10 years. Well, I thought that he was one of the fellow engineer friends with whom they would chat about fishing or hunting for all of the evening. My parents cooked great dishes and were waiting for him, but he wasn't there. I was angry that he made us all wait because I was insanely hungry. After some time, our long-awaited guest arrived. When he entered the house, I was surprised and stand speechless. I saw man of my dreams in the doors, handsome, tall, well-dressed, with briefcase in one hand and flowers in the other. I really liked him. They joked with my dad for all of the evening, laughed, remembering their childhood, and deep down I didn't want this evening to end. There was only one drawback. He always called me his daughter. It really infuriated me and made me upset. It turned out that he just recently moved to our city and opened his own business here. Therefore, he started to visit us very often and I waited for meeting him impatiently. Recently, father's friend began to look at me with a different, special look. He didn't even notice me before, but then his attitude towards me changed dramatically, and I, as a naive girl, took this for something more than it was. In the end, all my dreams and plans fell apart. Well, let me tell you the story step by step. Once we had a family dinner and he was our guest. He was sitting opposite to me and I couldn't stop admiring him. I began to dream of the two of us, imagining as we were walking, playing like kids, joking and laughing. But at a moment I caught the stern look of my father and I left the kitchen being embarrassed. The same night, after his departure, I involuntarily heard a conversation between my parents, where father indignantly were telling to my mother that they should keep me away from his friend. After this incident, he began to come to visit us less often, and I noticed that their friendship with my father was spoiled. Then it became clear that my father realized that I was not indifferent to his friend. I even started to miss him. Unexpectedly for me, he began to call me and ask how I was doing. My happiness had no limits. I thought that he fell in love with me. Once, he offered me to meet him. I was happy about it and started to prepare for the long-awaited meeting in private. I bought myself a new dress, new shoes. I dressed beautifully, smartened up, and went up on a date, so to speak. I wanted to tell him about my feelings during the meeting. He greeted me very warmly. After a little conversation, I wasn't patient to reveal my feelings. During the meeting, he was a little excited and often glanced at his watch. And eventually, my excitement also increased. Finally, I took all of my courage and just wanted to start a conversation, but suddenly a woman and a guy of my age sat down with us. He smiled and introduced them to me. They were his wife and son. I was very upset that I was thinking up all kinds of nonsense because he never gave me hope. For all this time, I didn't even ask if he had a family. I was so embarrassed, and at the same time, the fact that I didn't tell him about my feelings makes me calmer. Otherwise, I couldn't imagine how it will all end. By the way, his son was a copy of his father. Well, just like two drops of water, both in appearance and in character. Actually, it turned out that he called me to introduce to his son. So after this meeting, we began to keep in touch with his son, and his father was very happy about it. Our families renewed communication after some time, and then I realized that I had nearly ruined my future by confessing to my father's friend about my feelings.